talking about the tales that never retire. Ghosts and ghouls up in the trees, whispering secrets on the breeze. Down in the holler where shadows hide, lights flicker where the spirits glide. They swear they saw Jim, now gone, walking around with his boots still on. Unseen things in the Appalachian night, haunted fields where the moon don't lie. Cryptids howl and the stories flow. Gin and cocoa, they surely know.
Hi.
Hello.
We were I don't know. She thinks she looks giant.
Because I'm closer, she keeps leaning back, and I'm like all the way up here because the light's right here, and I'm like attracted to it like a fucking.
Hello. Happy Thursday. I don't even know what date it is. It's almost
I don't
July
know.
though. That's cool.
It is, yeah. It's June 26th.
We just booked.
Where does time go?
I don't know. We just booked our tickets. Us and my youngest daughter, for her graduation gift, are going to Europe in August. We're starting in Paris, and then going to Lake Como, Italy, and then Venice, Italy before we fly back. So we just booked those tickets finally. We waited till I am nervous to be on a plane for that long.
Yeah,
But
I'm nervous to be. I've never been anywhere other than Mexico and Canada.
I've been to Jamaica. That was
I've been
scary.
to Alaska.
Jamaica was scary. But yeah, so that's fun. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And then we have an investigation tomorrow over back to the Heyman house down in Sutton, West Virginia, which we love Sutton. We have a YouTube video about it. But then
Little town.
If you're going to be at the West Virginia Bigfoot Festival on Saturday, we're going to be going there, not as vendors or anything like that. We're just going to be, checking out stuff to support them. I'd like to be a vendor.
Bigfoot.
I'd like to be a vendor next year.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, this
that would be
lady's
fun.
blinding
We did
me.
Grafton, and that was fun.
Yes, Grafton was very
Monster.
fun.
That was
very
fun. Maybe we can do Bigfoot. We can do a different cryptid every year.
Yeah, well, I want to do multiple. I want to do them all.
Do them all.
So, is there anything else going on? What's going on? So July's coming up.
July is coming
We were supposed to be at a convention or a little, like a mystic whatever fair in July on the 19th, but they had to change the date, and unfortunately the date was changed to the same weekend as Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, which we will be at. So I think we're just going to go explore some
What's that place called?
Helvetia in West
I
Virginia.
keep wanting to call it Helvetica, and I'm like, that's a font.
Yes. So we're gonna
West Virginia.
Gonna go down there and explore. And then August is Europe. And then what else?
Oh my God, then it'll be like onto fall, and we have
Grand Midway in September.
Midway.
If you want tickets, let us know. Girls and Ghouls.
Blenner Hassett.
Blenner Hassett will be speaking. That's we're speaking at Gettysburg next month. Which we got to figure out what we're talking. Friendsgiving at the Rainworth.
What's in December?
October, we're going to the Clifton for a Twilight movie.
Yeah,
night.
I forgot about that. What date is that? I know I have it.
I think it's the 11th. I think it's the October 11th.
Yep.
That'll be open for tickets too. I got to post about that soon. And then we just got approached by Katie McVeigh, and she's gonna have us do the social media. And interview the social media mavens for the Booze on the Battleship. Booze on the Battleship in Wilmington, North Carolina. That's next May. So
yeah, that'll be so fun.
Very excited about that. yeah, a lot of my friends are going to be there as guests and things,
Yeah.
so that'll be fun.
We have lots of fun things planned.
Yes. So tonight it's not going to be super long, but we're going to talk about the Hex Hollow murder.
Yeah.
That's from the York? Is it York County, Pennsylvania? So the Pennsylvania Central PA region of Appalachia. But the Hex Hollow murder is one of the most chilling and bizarre true crime stories to ever come out of Pennsylvania. A tale soaked in superstition, witchcraft, and Appalachian folklore. Let's go deep into the shadows of York County, where farmland turns to forest and the air grows thick with whispers.
Thick.
Yeah. So
Double C, thick.
it's Hex Hollow. But is it Rehmeyer's? Rehmeyer's Hollow.
House. Oh.
Or the house. But Rehmeyer's Hollow is the technical name, but they call it Hex Hollow. And
because they believe there was a hex put on them by Mr. Nelson Rehmeyer.
Yeah.
So these men
powwowing, and we'll get into what powwowing is shortly. But yeah, so do you want me to read what I have? Or do you want to read what you have?
Well, you go ahead.
Okay. Nestled in southern Pennsylvania, Hex Hollow, officially as Rehmeyer's Hollow, is a secluded, eerie patch of woods near the town of Stewartstown. I don't know if I'm saying that right, sorry. It's a place where the fog clings low and the trees seem to lean in too close. Long before the murder, the locals believed this land was cursed, infested with hexes, dark energy, and old Dutch magic. And Dutch magic, powwow.
Powwowing.
I'm going to talk about what...
And not
Native American.
Native American powwowing. No.
Yeah.
It comes from... It's actually has
Dutch
roots in... Yeah, but from... It has Christian roots.
Yes.
Powwowing does.
Powwowing is a mix of Christian prayers and Bible verses, German folk magic.
What are you reading from? That's what I was trying to look for.
German folk magic from the old world, protective spells and blessings, herbal medicine, and symbolic rituals, which kind of is really like Appalachian folk magic as well.
Yeah.
It's very similar, which it probably is like a branch of it. It was brought over by Pennsylvania Dutch settlers in the 17 and 1800s, German-speaking immigrants, many of whom lived in isolated rural communities. Life was hard, the wilderness unforgiving, and superstition was survival. And, you know, superstition and folklore, that's very, very thick in the Appalachian region. Despite the name, it has nothing to do with Native American traditions. The term powwow was used later, possibly borrowed from 19th century American culture, but it stuck. So there's secret books with powwowing. Powwowers often relied on strange old texts filled with blessings, cures, and protections. The most famous of them all was The Long Lost Friend from 1820. I actually was trying to get a copy of that book before to just check it out because it's interesting. It was written by John George Homan. This book is full of odd remedies like how to stop bleeding with a few Latin words, protecting your cattle from witches, healing a burn by blowing on it and saying a rhyme. But it wasn't just medicine, it was spiritual warfare. Owning a copy of this book was said to protect your house from evil, but if it was stolen or misused, things could turn very dark very fast. And that, again, is called The Long Lost Friend. I think they might even sell it on Amazon because they sell everything on Amazon.
Right? I know. I was actually looking it up earlier to see if they had it.
So how it was used, most powwowers were healers, but they often walked a line between holy and haunting. Here's what they did. Cured fevers by tracing crosses in the air. Interesting. Like, ha, 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 ha. Healed animals by whispering prayers into their fur.
That's interesting. I do that.
Removed hexes using mirrors, knives, or salt.
Oh my God, Loki.
Oh, the cat's in here.
How'd you get in here?
He needs you to heal him by whispering prayers.
I know. Come here, Loki.
Bound evil spirits with symbols or psalms. Drew hex signs on barns to ward off the devil. They were usually deeply religious, Lutheran or Reformed Christians, believing their magic worked because of divine power, not in spite of it. But others Well, they wandered into darker territory. Mouse, like, adds to Prime card. Hi, Mike. For anybody listening on, was it a StreamYard? Spotify. Oh my God. For anybody listening on Spotify, we randomly sound like we're swirling it. It's because people
We both are.
Well, we are, but also because people are watching us in real time.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my cat Loki. Lucas.
Yeah.
Lucas, I love you.
We're in love. Hi.
Okay. The shadow side. Hexes and witch wars. If someone fell sick suddenly, if crops failed, or cows stopped giving milk, witchcraft was often blamed. And while powwowers healed, hexers cursed. This led to real fear and sometimes violence. The most infamous case was the Hex Hollow murder in 1928, where a man was brutally killed because others believed he'd placed a curse using powwow magic. Is powwowing still practiced, you wonder? Yes, but in secret. Some families still pass down the prayers. Some Amish and Mennonite healers still use parts of it. Others incorporate it into Appalachian folk magic, I was just saying, or Christian witchcraft, which is kind of an odd thing, Christian witchcraft. I just feel like it doesn't go together. But hey, everybody has their thing.
That's a whole other conversation, right, Loki?
But most powwowers don't call themselves witches. In fact, they would have been offended by that word. They saw themselves as protectors, standing between their communities and the forces of darkness. Hi, Holly. Yes, it's very much, it's so similar. It's pretty much the same thing. Still, the line between a healer and a hexer can be thin. So that's a little bit of a dive into powwowing. But yeah, let's get back into the murder. Do you wanna take over
the
that?
murder of Nelson Rehmeyer. Nelson Rehmeyer was a powwow doctor, a folk healer. Some said he was good. Others whispered he had grown too powerful or too dark. He lived alone in a sagging wooden house deep in the hollow, where the candlelight flickered late into the night. 3 young men, John Blymeyer, John Curry, and Wilbert Hess, came to believe that Rehmeyer had cursed them, bringing sickness, death, and misfortune. Oh my God, Loki. Can you believe that? Blymeyer, already obsessed with hexes and signs, sought the advice of another powwow practitioner who told him something terrifying. You must get his spell book and burn it, or your soul may never be free. Driven by fear and superstition, the trio crept into Hex Hollow one night in November 1928. Rehmeyer welcomed them inside, unaware of the doom they carried. What was supposed to be a simple ritual to remove a curse turned brutal. They beat him, they strangled him, and then they set his body on fire, Jesus Christ, hoping to destroy his magic forever. But here's the creepiest part.
Tell me, what is it?
The fire, it never took. Despite being soaked in kerosene, his body barely burned. It was as if something or someone protected him, even in death. His magic, probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've done this story.
why are people always like killing other people for their magic?
I don't know. I've read this
For
story
what they
before, and
believe
that
their
part of
magic
it,
did.
yeah, that part was always intriguing,
Fucked up.
that he didn't really burn.
Yeah.
So the aftermath, the murderers were quickly caught and put on trial. The courtroom turned into a surreal theater of witchcraft and fear, as tales of hex signs, spells, and dark curses were aired publicly. People who'd never even heard of powwow magic now saw it as something dangerous, something alive. To this day, Rehmeyer's house still stands in the hollow. Locals say it's cursed. Visitors report cold spots in the dead of summer, unseen hands pushing them on the stairs, voices whispering in German, and rotting stench in the basement even when nothing's there. Some swear they've seen Rehmeyer's ghost standing at the edge of the woods watching and waiting. Now, I've heard you cannot go onto the property because somebody owns it and you'll get trespassing charges.
Yeah.
So do not.
They have security systems, so don't. It's always fear, Holly.
Yeah, as Holly said, why does the death of witches always begin with fear? Because they're scared
That's
of their
why the
power.
state of the world is the way it is, because of fear.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
So what lurks there now? Hex Hollow remains a place where reality blurs with the paranormal. It's become a magnet for ghost hunters, witches, and thrill seekers. But be warned, many who go into Hex Hollow alone come out different. Some leave physically sick, others say something followed them home, and a few vanish from the online world entirely. Their last photos geotagged right at the edge of the trees. So that's weird.
That is weird.
Yeah. So that's the story of Hex Hollow. And yeah, I mean, I would go there if I could, but I'm not getting no trespassing charge.
How far is that from here?
I don't know. A couple hours, I'm sure. I don't know.
What's at Hopewell?
Hopewell?
Didn't it say Hopewell?
No, it's I don't remember. It's York County.
Oh,
I do know that much.
that's far.
It is. What the hell is this? Sorry, I'm looking at my stuff. Anyways. So
Amy and Loki are in love.
I know, you guys are just over there. So this one isn't going to be long tonight. Do you guys want me to tell you another Appalachian ghost story real quick?
Oh, it's over near Holly.
I'll tell you one in 1 second.
Holly, we get to see you soon.
Talk to everybody for a minute. I'm going to get another story to tell
We're
them.
going to get another story. Look up, I started to look up, you said, freaky, weird, creepy news stories.
Oh, well,
And
I
started to look it up, and I don't even know where my phone is.
I just
anymore.
did that one about that. Wasn't Holly was messaging about it too under my thing, but like under my post, but about all those dead babies.
Oh yeah,
that were found in, like, I guess what, Ireland, and I guess that's pretty common. Like there used to be like all these places where they would stick women, like, oh, she had sex, so she's a whore, so she goes to this place, and they'd like take their babies after they had them and like give them up for adoption or whatever. But I guess these ones were sick or something, and the ones that they just threw them,
put them in a septic tank.
Yeah, it's jacked.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't have the story in front of me, but I do have the story, though, that I did the other day.
People are so fucked up.
We're going to go from Hex Hollow.
Cat, Loki.
Hex Hollow in
I
Pennsylvania.
wish I was a cat.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. Is it Magdalen Laundries in Ireland? Yeah, there was all over Ireland, right? There was a lot of them, I believe. Sorry to everybody on Spotify. I'm talking to chat to Holly while she's answering that question.
I think this is what our podcast should be, is just us sitting here talking to people and talking about random shit.
Let me kiss you. All right. So I'll tell you guys one more ghost story. Oh, an Unwed Mother Home was never just an Unwed Mother Home. Yeah. It was
just find the
a
most
horrible place.
Craziest fucked up story in the news today. And then
that one was pretty bad. The babies.
Yeah, but like, okay, another one. We already talked about that, so just like find another one.
No, I'm gonna tell. I don't know.
Okay,
tell a ghost story.
All right, you go ahead.
Want me to tell a ghost story? Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell him another ghost story. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Lauren said, I filmed at Hex Hollow House a few years ago. Well, outside of it, a cop showed up and asked what we were doing. He was super nice, and then the current owner of the house showed up and was screaming at us. The cop then came back and shut him down. I heard that the owner is a dick. So, I mean, I guess I get, though. Property? I mean, I guess, like, I'm pretty grouchy, so I would probably yell at people on my property, too.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn, you whippersnappers. But yeah, so, if you go there, proceed with caution, because you might get yelled at like Lawrence did. Okay, so from York County, Pennsylvania, let's head down to Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, which you haven't been there yet. I love Harper's Ferry. It's like, I think, like the most east you can go in West Virginia. It's like literally
just stays watching the cameras.
Ugh.
Loki!
Sorry, let me go back to chat. Lauren said, mind you, the house is empty. He lives nearby, but not the actual house.
Anymore.
I'm sure he was
He's
cranky.
escaping.
What are you doing, Loki? You're distracting our
Doesn't want my
podcast.
love anymore.
All right, so this is a story of the ghost of Screaming Jenny. I just did a. If you pay attention at all, I'm trying to read something, cat. So if you follow along anything else that I do, I talked about this the other day. So back in the 1800s, down near Harper's Ferry, there lived a woman folks called Jenny. She was poor, worked hard for pennies, and lived alone in an old line shack near the railroad tracks. Just a crumbling place with a fireplace and a tin roof that sang in the rain. One autumn evening, as the wind howled like a wounded beast through the trees, this is very dramatic, Jenny was warming a bowl of broth over the fire. A stray cinder leapt from the hearth and caught the hem of her ragged dress. Within seconds, she was a living torch, flames climbing her like ivy. She screamed and ran into the night, flailing down the tracks, desperate for help. Now here's where it gets strange. As she ran, a train came barreling around the bend. The engineer saw a figure in flames, shrieking and stumbling towards them, but it was too late to stop. The train hit her head on, and Jenny was gone. So not only was she on fire, but then she got hit by a fucking train.
Jesus.
I know. That's not a good way to go out. But they never found her body, just scorched grass and the smell of smoke. Ever since that night on the anniversary of her death, people say they see her on the tracks, a woman made of fire wailing into the dark. The engineers say if you don't stop the train when you see her, something terrible happens on the next run. Derailments, equipment failure, or worse. They call her Screaming Jenny, and if you ever hear her cry echo through the hills, you best not follow it, because Jenny, she's still burning, and she wants you to feel the flames too.
Damn.
Yeah.
That sucks for Jenny.
Yeah, that's not the way to go out. I just want to die in my sleep.
How are you gonna get killed twice?
I know. We have time for one more story.
Okay.
You want to tell that one?
The Witch of Dry Fork Hollow. Wait, my dry fork is dry.
Oh gosh, let me read these comments real quick. Mal said, was it the mother who was pulling her kid's teeth out because she thought the kid was possessed? Because that just happened near me. I did see that news story. That is messed up. And that's not the one we're talking about, but that's screwed up. I just saw that when I was scrolling. What is that? Kate's Mountain. I'm down to go wherever.
Where's that at?
Well, Mal's in West Virginia, so.
Oh, this closed.
My bad. All right. So she's going to tell you guys one more story before we go for the night.
The Witch of Dry Fork Hollow. Deep in the folds of the Appalachian Mountains, down a twisting road barely wide enough for a wagon, there lies a forgotten place folks call Dry Fork Hollow. It's not on any map these days, and there's a reason for that. Back before the Civil War, a woman named Esme Raines lived there. Alone, with a cat as black as coal, eyes like burning coals. The townsfolk swore she was a witch. Crops would fail when she walked by. Babies were born with their eyes wide open, and dogs howled when she lit her lantern at night. But no one dared confront her. Not until the preacher's son Micah vanished one October. His boots were found near her land, the laces burned clean through, and the trees nearby were twisted like they'd grown in pain. The townsfolk gathered with torches and pitchforks.
Pitchfolks.
Ready to drag Esme out of her shack and bring justice. Whoa. Only thing was, she wasn't there. The door hung open. Stew still bubbling over the fire, but not a soul inside. Just claw marks on the walls. Too high up to be an animal, too deep to be a human. They burned her house down anyway, said prayers, salted the earth, and swore it was over. But it wasn't. People say if you go to Dry Fork Hollow in October, you'll hear the sound of bare feet walking on dead leaves. You'll smell burning sage and rotting flesh. Yuck. And sometimes you'll see a woman with no eyes standing beneath a crooked tree, whispering in a tongue older than the mountain itself. If she speaks to you, they say your voice is stolen. You walk out of those woods, but you're not you anymore. You'll smile too wide, you'll talk too soft. And when the firelight hits your eyes, they ain't yours.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. They say Esme never died. She became the Hollow. And she's still looking for the ones who burned her home.
Interesting.
Spooky.
Why do you think the Appalachian mountains and stuff are so haunted? Just because they're
so
old as shit?
And they hold like so much energy. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, like I've talked about
millions and millions of years of, I mean,
coal mines. I think they're haunted as frick because you're going into the earth, digging places you shouldn't be, where they weren't meant to see the light of day, and you're in there digging.
I agree.
And you're taking from
Like, why
Mother
are
Earth.
we always digging stuff up? Like, why are we removing animals from the earth and crystals from the earth and all these things? Just fucking leave them be.
I know. This cat wants a lot of attention right now.
He's the star of the show. Hi, Loki.
Yeah.
I love him.
You're cute. Would you like to say goodbye to everyone? Goodbye.
I love him.
When are we on next? Oh my god.
Well, what is today's
What is
date?
today? Hold
I
on.
lost my phone.
It is the 10th. July 10th.
Yep.
We'll be on July 10th. I don't know what we're talking about, but we'll figure it out.
We'll decide.
I really
I
don't know.
kind of like telling spooky stories. Like, I
do.
like these
It's like a
ones that we
campfire
told.
story.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these days I'll have Rick
Let's
start
do
the
that.
fire, and we'll tell him actually around the fire outside.
Yeah, it's just been
We'd have to
too
start
hot.
later, though. We'd have to start later, so it's dark.
Yeah. But
So
it's also
maybe.
been way too hot because it's been like 100 degrees
It
every day.
It feels like hell here.
So if it's cooler, if there's a cooler night, that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that more like in October or something.
Yeah.
When it's
I also have the fire pit on my patio that's
true.
covered.
Yeah, it's darker over there. That'd be cool because then it'd be
So we
like
could do
dark
that.
and like it would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out.
Figure it out. That would be fun.
If you have a particular story you'd like to hear on July
yeah.
10th, you can always comment. Let us know if there's something you want us to cover. We'll cover it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's about. I
I
have
like
hair
that.
all over me.
Start covering creepy stories.
Yeah.
Fucked up shit.
That's what I do all the time.
Yeah.
It's fun. Storyteller. Yes.
Yeah.
Like a cursed sleepover.
Yes. With cats.
Yes. And dogs sometimes.
Yeah.
But my
But
dogs are
mainly cats.
obnoxious.
I mean, look at this
Oh.
chunk of ham.
All right, guys. We will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Cue our music.
Say bye, Luke.
Jen and Coco sit by the fire, talking about the tales that never tire. Ghosts and ghouls up in the trees, whispering secrets on the breeze. Down in the holler where shadows hide, lights flicker